Hi everyone. Over a year after its concept debut, the 2021 BMW R18 has made its way to production. Let the fast facts commence. The first R18s available will be the 2021 BMW R18 First Edition model. Functionally, the First Edition is the same as the standard R18. The most significant difference is the white pinstriping on the black Storm metallic fuel tank and rear fender. We can't imagine an R18 without it, as it harkens right back to the R5. There is also quite a bit of added chrome, including the valve covers, front engine cover, cylinder intake covers, hand and foot controls, master cylinders, mirrors, bar ends, and brake calipers. This initial R18 also gets first edition side panel badging, and the owner is presented with an extensive welcome box, which includes a BMW Motorrad book, belt buckle, baseball cap, and historical tank emblems for the tank with fasteners and an assembly tool, all very upscale. Settling into the seat for the first time, your eyes will be immediately drawn to the big Boxer's huge cylinders. Although the flat twin power plant looks large as you gaze at the unmounted R18, once you hop on, nothing prepares you for the shock of the size of the 2901cc cylinders. They are not shy, and you immediately realize that there's a fundamental reason the R18 has mid-controls. Ergonomically, the 2021 BMW R18 is more of a retro standard than a traditional cruiser. With the foot pegs below you rather than far forward, you sit upright on the 27.2-inch high seat. The handlebar bend is wide and swept back, so the ergonomics aren't quite sporting. It's a natural position for riding, though not necessarily one for profiling down the road to your favorite gathering place. Starting up the big Boxer may be the most visceral experience in motorcycling. I've always loved the excitement provoked when a big-inch Harley-Davidson motor starts up. The entire motorcycle shakes, and the adrenaline flows into the bloodstream. It's an impetus to get going. The 2021 BMW R18 does that one better, as you get more than the shake of the 107mm wide pistons flowing back and forth through the 100mm stroke. You also get the side-to-side rocking that comes with the Boxer configuration, and it is quite pronounced. The first time, it will likely catch you off guard, so be aware when you hit the start button. Also, no key is needed, as you carry a fob. Just tap the power button, let it power up, and then push down on the start switch to commence the proceedings. Everyone likes the R18 instantly. The fact that the twin fishtail mufflers produce a pleasing rumble certainly aids the R18's cause. The big Boxer motor isn't just for show, it goes. The air oil-cooled pushrod twin uses twin cams and 4-valve heads to produce 116 feet-to-pounds of torque at just 3,000 revolutions per minute. Expect people who don't like cruisers to mock the peak of 91 horsepower at 4,750 revolutions per minute, without understanding the function of the power plant. It's all about that pull. After a brief softness to the power right off idle to keep launches smooth, the push is monumental. All that torque melts away the 761-pound curb weight of the R18, as does the low center of gravity afforded by the Boxer configuration. Although the big Boxer willing revs to the limiter, if you hit it, you have made a mistake because you haven't already upshifted. While there are 3 modes, there's only one you need if it's not raining. Sure, the rain mode makes sense on wet pavement. It tamps down the throttle response, cranks up the traction control, and modulates the engine compression braking. In the dry, that leaves you with a choice between rock and roll modes. Yes, the names are trying too hard. Anyway, the rock mode is the one you want. It has the strongest throttle response and least intrusive traction control. Unlike some sport bikes, where the most aggressive mode is undesirable anywhere other than a racing circuit, the R18's rock mode is fully smooth and never abrupt. The roll mode is just slower, with no discernible advantage unless you like gratuitous traction control on the dry stuff. The handlebar does quite a dance when in neutral at a stop, with the modes altering the amount of shake. Unsurprisingly, you get the most movement in the rock mode and the least in the rain mode. If you blip the throttle while stopped, you'll be quickly reminded that you're riding a Boxer, as it will forcefully lunge to the left. Once underway, all of these peculiarities disappear, and the R18 is a smooth and predictable ride. Riding the 2021 BMW R18 around town is a distinct pleasure. While not exactly live, it belies its weight and 68-inch wheelbase. With the neutral riding position and the wide handlebar providing leverage, the R18 is shockingly easy to ride. It goes where you want it to go, without demanding any undue effort. The motor and the chassis are accommodating to the rider, rather than the other way around. The seat is comfortable, though you'll want to stop now and then. The stock R18 saddle isn't quite up to the task. Fortunately, BMW offers accessory seats from the likes of Mustang, and there will be more to come from the aftermarket. The passenger perch is predictably limited in size. The optional reverse gear is electronically driven by the starter, so the boxer effect is taken away, backing up is slow and easy. The Showa fork and ZF Sax shock work well in concert. BMW didn't tune the suspension for pure plush. You always have a feel for the road. However, BMW engineers didn't skimp on the travel, 4.7 inches in the front and 3.5 inches out back, so you don't have an abrupt ride. The sharp edges are smoothed out without obscuring the interaction between the pavement and the motorcycle. The only suspension adjustment is the spring preload on the shock, and no more is needed. The R18 delivers a ride that keeps it real. Being a BMW, the 2021 R18 is not allergic to twisties. It's no surprise that the R18 handles well, that's just the nature of the BMW brand. The suspension does its job in the canyons, so you don't have to grit your teeth if the roads aren't perfect. The R18 is undoubtedly stable, yet mid-corner corrections are not impossible if you put in a bit of effort. The Bridgestone Battle Cruise H50 tires are flawless, right up to the generous cornering clearance limits, and that's where you have to be careful. The feelers on the pegs touch down abruptly during spirited riding. In one instance, the feeler hit the pavement so violently that it unexpectedly knocked my foot off the peg, and I wasn't riding that aggressively. If I were a buyer of the 2021 BMW R18, the first thing I'd look into would be different footrests. BMW does offer optional floorboards, and I'd be keen to try them. If you enjoy a bit of lean angle, the peg feelers are a sore thumb on a wonderful motorcycle. The BMW R18 is fully stable on roads with big-hearted speed limits. Whether it's an open road or urban freeway, the long wheelbase and stretch 32.7 degrees of rake make for a sure ride. You sit low enough that you don't feel like you're going to get blown off the bike, and there's more than enough power to do as you please. Once you hit triple digits, though, you feel like you've had enough. The engine vibration and wind blast are insistent that you back off the throttle a bit. Braking is wholly intuitive, with the assists being completely transparent. The R18 has full-time ABS. In the dry, you aren't likely to notice it ever engaging. When you pull the handbrake lever, all three calipers initiate deceleration, with the ABS system balancing the input. The foot brake is rear only, and not especially powerful on its own. The braking is so perfectly executed that you won't spend much time thinking about it, it behaves exactly as you expect it to. A nod to the R5, the 2021 BMW R18 is a straightforward ride. It was probably tempting to some engineers in Berlin to give the R18 every sort of electronic aid and option available as the company's deep inventory. Instead, those who wanted to keep it simple prevailed, and the basic nature enhances the concept of the R18 as a retro motorcycle rather than a cruiser. The aids it does offer to the rider are unobtrusive, and welcome. The analog-style Speedo dash is not complex, and includes a gear selection digital indicator. A rocker thumb switch on the left handlebar allows you to choose the supplemental info that suits you. I wasn't sure what to expect with the 2021 BMW R18, but I like what I got. With a big torquey power plant, relatively compact ergonomics, and an upright seating position, the R18 is far easier to ride than any 1802cc, 761-pound motorcycle has a right to be. It's an uncomplicated ride that any motorcyclist will appreciate instantly. Everything works as expected, and this is simply a terrific motorcycle that calls you to the garage for yet another outing. Thanks for watching.